Hi everyone, and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Jannik Sinner just obliterated Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals of Wimbledon 2025. It wasn't even close. It was so hard to watch Novak Djokovic being so helpless in a tennis court. He beat Djokovic in straight sets under 2 hours, that too in Wimbledon. Jannik Sinner looked unstoppable tonight, and Novak Djokovic had no clue how to deal with him. It was 2 hours of spectacular tennis from Sinner. At this point of time in Novak's career, it's difficult for him to find that energy to keep up with this younger talent, especially with the likes of Sinner and Alcaraz, who are a step ahead of the rest of the pack. Sinner was ruthless, he was merciless, and he was picture perfect. In the opening 2 sets, he didn't give Djokovic even a sniff. His serving was on point. His ground strokes were blistering, both from the forehand and from the backhand side. After Djokovic, Sinner has probably the best backhand in all of tennis. But his forehand was also on point tonight. In the second set, his forehand was peaking at an accuracy of 9.7 out of 10, which just shows how heavy Sinner was hitting the ball. Sinner hits winners, he takes the ball early, and he's remarkably consistent. And Novak, he was at times seeing his own reflection at the other side of the court. The kind of consistency that Sinner put on against Djokovic was scary. If someone was doubting him after that performance against Grigor Dimitrov, Sinner just proved them wrong by producing 2 hours of scintillating tennis against the greatest player in tennis history. Novak Djokovic is the best returner in tennis. But against the service of Jannik Sinner, even Novak was struggling to pick their serve up. And Sinner's consistency was on an entirely different level. His backhand was on point, and time and again, in the longer rallies, Djokovic couldn't keep up with Sinner. He tried all sorts of variation. He tried to come into the net, keeping the point short, but at his age, he couldn't keep up with Sinner. It is hard to see one of the greatest champions in history look so lost. Father Time is undefeated. It eventually catches up with everyone. And it's safe to say that Novak Djokovic is also facing the same crisis. It was always going to be an uphill task for Novak against Jannik. In the last time that they faced in Roland Garros, it was a similar situation for the first 2 sets. Novak didn't have a sniff. And in the third set, he managed to break Sinner and take a game for him. In the Wimbledon semi-finals as well, Novak broke Sinner at the beginning of the third set, but that too after an injury timeout. Whenever Djokovic is losing, he comes up with these injury timeouts every single time. He might have been actually injured this time around, but that break in play always messes the rhythm of his opponent. And right after that, Sinner concedes the break. And Novak couldn't hold that break for much long because Yannick's level of tennis was so high that he eventually found his way back in the very next game and broke right back. But Djokovic was more distraught than hurt at this point of time. Nothing was working for him. Sinner had the answers to every single play of Novak. Novak was serving well, but Novak couldn't keep up with the pace and the athleticism of Jannik Sinner. At 38 years of age, Novak has slowed down drastically, and it wouldn't be surprising if it is the last time that we see Novak Djokovic in Wimbledon because it will be hard for him to motivate himself to come back next year when he will be 39 years old. At this point of time, Djokovic has won everything there is to win in tennis. He has nothing else to prove. And these younger guys like Sinner and Alcaraz are going to be extremely difficult for him to beat. For Novak, the harder matchup is definitely Sinner. Sinner becomes the first man or the second man since Rafael Nadal to beat Novak Djokovic in 5 consecutive matches. For Novak Djokovic, Jannik Sinner is a tougher guy to beat than Carlos Alcaraz because Sinner plays on a very consistent level, unlike Alcaraz, who has certain ups and downs at some points of time in the match and then comes back to win the set. But Sinner's level doesn't dip. He is consistent all the way through. And at this point of time in his career, when Novak is growing old, it's difficult for him to maintain that same level of consistency. So whenever the matchup was announced that Djokovic was going to face Sinner in the semifinals, it was always going to be a difficult task for him. And at 38, it was mission impossible. So with this victory, Jannik Sinner sets up a date with Carlos Alcaraz. The number one player in the world will face the number two player in the world at the Wimbledon final. The pair of them played the Roland Garros final just a few weeks earlier, and it was one of the most epic matches in recent tennis history. The level of tennis was so high that even the commentators and the spectators were left speechless. It was eventually Carlos Alcaraz who triumphed in the end, despite being 2 sets to love down and almost a breakdown in the third set. Somehow, miraculously, Alcaraz came back from behind to win the match, and he has won the last 4 meetings with Jannik Sinner. So that will play in Sinner's mind. Sinner has to crack that Alcaraz code if he is to win the Grand Slam this year at Wimbledon. It's his first Wimbledon final. Jannik Sinner has literally beat everyone in the ATP Tour this year except for Carlos Alcaraz. And the scary thing is, if Sinner cracks the Alcaraz code, he would be unbeatable because there are no players at the moment who can challenge Sinner apart from Carlos. He plays too perfect at times, and it's only Alcaraz with his athleticism and variety of shot making that can push Sinner to the limit. He takes Sinner into deep waters and tries to drown him. And obviously, Alcaraz too has the kind of shot making that Sinner has. These two are set to play yet another memorable final. Can Carlos Alcaraz make it 3 Wimbledons in a row? He has already created history by becoming the second Spaniard to reach the Wimbledon final 3 times in a row after Rafael Nadal. And Carlos Alcaraz is much more difficult to beat on grass than he is on clay. His serving and his shot making on grass is on an entirely different level. And against Taylor Fritz in the semi-final, Alcaraz was at his best as well. Yes, he gave away his set. Sometimes that happens as well because there is a lack of concentration for Alcaraz. But then he comes up with moments of brilliance, like in this quarterfinal match against the British player Norrie. He was toying with him. Cam Norrie had no idea how to play with Alcaraz. So Alcaraz needs motivation at times, and Jannik Sinner is the perfect dance partner for him. And these two are once again going to light up the stadium at Sunday's final. Will Jannik Sinner be able to crack the Carlos Alcaraz code? Only time will tell. Let me know in the comment section what you feel. And if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.